Welcome to Forever Exiled, a Path of Exile podcast. This is episode 4. I am Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Thanks for joining us again for another episode. How's it going, Ty?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm finally got some free time to Path of Exile stuff.
Just
kind of
nice. Did you play?
Just a little bit. Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I have progressed a little bit, but not a whole lot. And you?
I have barely been able to play. Tis the season. Tis Christmas season, so we have lots of company over, so I haven't had much opportunity. Today I had some time, but I used that time to record my example videos for my 6 guides. So it takes some time. It would have been nice to level my character still. I'm still in Act 6, I think.
Are you using standard characters for that?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
For all of them?
Yeah. And
not like even for
all my guides are on console and they're on standard. Just so that it's a lot easier to switch around. But I ran into a dilemma this time around because the map conversion for standard isn't available yet. Can't convert last league's maps to this league's maps. So
yeah, you're jumping ahead there. Hey? You're jumping ahead there a little bit, hey?
So doing well. Thanks for asking.
Have you played this character for Metamorph much?
No,
where are you at right now?
I think I've maybe put in an hour since we last had an episode.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And now, when I talked to you in between, you mentioned that you thought though things were getting easier, more manageable.
Way better. The build itself was really hard to level. In case for those who haven't listened to the previous episodes, the character that got hit the hardest out of all my guides, the character that got hit the hardest for me was my Scion that uses Elemental Hit. Got hit pretty hard with a nerf for 3.9 patches. And I added the brand new Ballista Totem Support. That is really weak. It's a lot weaker than the attack totem that previously existed, but of course you can have much more than them. So in this way, it makes up the damage, but leveling is really weak for both of them. It wasn't until maybe midway through Act 3 that I started feeling like, okay, I wasn't tolerating the character. But now that Act 4 was so easy. Act 5, I don't even stop moving. I just place, and kept going. So it was good. It's really progressed well. It's too bad that the first few acts are so exhausting.
What do you think it was that sort of put you over that hump?
A little bit of it is the build. At the very beginning of my tree, it's just life. I'm starting with the Scion and I go straight to that big cluster of life nodes and Elemental Hit. Things obviously picked up a little bit with Elemental Hit, but I just think it's the stats of the skills themselves as they level. They're just not properly attuned to the new armor and resists that the enemies just got in 3.9. I don't feel like my tree is unbalanced in any way in regards to damage and life. So I do think that it's just kind of the leveling process. The beginning parts of the skill need to be tweaked a bit.
So you're still using Elemental Hit though?
I am, yeah. I like to use the skills that I'm actually planning on using end game all the way through. I like to see how they level. And then if people that are asking questions about the guide, then I can at least give them some accurate information.
Right. Yeah, so I think I'm in Act 7. Okay. And I actually found the opposite. I found it got harder with my build. Now that could be because it's solo self-found and I have not been getting lucky at all with a lot of stuff, and I'm not big enough into the crafting while I'm leveling. So it's a bit risky,
especially on your first playthrough, to do a lot of crafting as you're leveling.
Yeah, so I think the actual leveling, the actual typical gameplay for Path of Exile hasn't gotten harder, hasn't changed at all. It's been still just as easy, but the Metamorph stuff has gotten way more difficult, just like incredibly difficult now to actually be able to kill anything. If I give it any sort of stats, it tends to be a huge waste of my time. So it actually is like, for me, it's been like Syndicate, where I'm just skipping it. I'm avoiding it. It was the same with Abyss as well. Yeah. I remember Abyss, I would, during the leveling process, just skip them because at that time they were a little overtuned and it was, it just wasn't worth it. But I'm finding with this one now, I'm at the point now where I don't collect them because I still hate that I have to pick them up. And I know I'm not going to fight the boss anyway because it's just, when I do kill it, I quite often don't get things that are worthwhile for that kill, because it's taking me almost as long to kill that boss as it has to just run through whatever zone I'm in.
Right. That sounds just familiar with leveling, though. You know what I mean? Like, for me, especially because, you know, I'm trying to get to end game as fast as I can. I don't want the leveling process to take forever. I know that the better bosses are going to be with the drops that happen in end game anyway. And I found whether it was Syndicate, whether it was, I mean, any league, when you start doing the league content, it just slows you down. It overlevels you. Like if you enjoy it and you take the time to do it and you're not forced to do it, it definitely overlevels you and it makes general leveling easier. But I've found that, yeah, I've been skipping it too, just because I won't, you know, I know my time is limited for PC league play. And so I want to get to the end as soon as I can.
Yeah. The unfortunate part for me though, is that at least that I'm finding is the the Metamorph stuff has been in the beginning quite beneficial for finding items, for getting, you know, gear or currency to craft with, but it is not worth it. It's gotten to the point where it's just not worth it. And I don't know what it's like end game. So I'm hoping that it, you know, it's still a useful tool and that people are still finding it useful in maps. But that's always been my concern with leagues, is they tend to fall off once you get towards end game and you're just doing end game like every other league. It's not focused on the league mechanic. Yeah. So we'll see.
It's neat that it's a little bit harder though for you. That's encouraging. I was watching there's a guy that I watch on Mixer often. I just lurk for a bit, and his name's Rolex. He's really good at the game. He can just blindly make a build. It's going to be amazing. He was always uber shaper. He would do blindfolded with anything. He's really good at the game, and it was discouraging for him, but it was really encouraging for me when I saw him in endgame, because like I said, I'm still on Act 6. It was encouraging for me when I see him in endgame just suffering through some of these bosses that he's created mid-map, and I don't know, I like it.
This is endgame?
Like, yeah. And he's the kind of guy, he just steamrolls all content. He knows without, you know, his theory crafting is all just, he's thinking about it. He knows what the gems do. He just reads the content. He never uses anything like path of building or anything. And he's like, wait, is that one stronger than the other? And you just see him do like some typing in the corner. Oh, okay, no, that one's probably go 50,000 more. So he's smart with the game, and it was kind of nice. No offense to Rolex if he ever sees this, but it was kind of nice to see him struggle. It was kind of encouraging, because I like we were talking about in episode 3, those bosses that really take time. Yeah,
I am curious though for people like him and others that are in endgame, if it is at least worthwhile, because I don't mind that it's difficult if there's some value to it, and they really got to get rid of the stupid picking up parts. Now, I never saw
it's coming.
Yeah. I never actually saw the announcement after the last episode where they said they were going to mention something about it tomorrow, but they didn't say in what detail they were going to talk about it.
Yeah. They said, I mean, they had 3.91 come out with a couple hot fixes after that as well, but it wasn't in that. And so there's still a few things that they've mentioned that's on their bug report list that are high priority that have not been released yet, and that is one of them.
Well, I mean, that's at least good.
Yeah.
You had a note about Totem Duration.
Well, yeah, I've actually never, despite the fact they've been in the game for forever, I've never really bothered making a totem build. And so my Scion, like I've had totems in, but they've never been my primary damage, right? And so now that I'm doing it, I'm thinking, what's the point of Totem Duration? Like, they all have health, and you can choose to invest in their health and their resists. What's the point of the duration? Like, you're going to be moving on anyway, right? I don't get it. It seems redundant, pointless.
I'm trying to think, because almost every totem, as you walk away from it, falls apart anyway.
It expires. Right?
Yeah, it will stop firing. It will stop.
So, and especially now that I'm thinking about with these ballistas that you place within melee range, I've been thinking, okay, well, like, why, if I decided to invest tons of health, what's the point if it's going to expire in whatever seconds anyway?
Which are we talking about when we talk about Totem Duration?
Well, any totem. I mean, now that I'm just into ballista totems, I'm starting to see that there's absolutely no point to duration. They're either going to die or they're going to live. And even if they live,
I'm
not planning on standing there long term anyway. I'm moving on through the map.
Are there stats that just give Totem Duration and that's all it does?
There are,
because the wiki is showing
that do impact totems, and totems have a duration tag as far as I remember.
Yeah,
but they do have a duration. They expire.
Yeah, on the wiki, it combines attack and cast speed for the totems to the totem duration. But I know that that's not in general. Yeah, because it straight up has a 20% increased totem duration. Maybe for a boss.
But even then, if your totems can survive, what's wrong with that?
Well, will they only disappear based on life though? Won't they?
Or duration.
Right. So you could extend the duration so that you just don't have to cast it again. I don't feel like it's a valuable thing to be investing in. But if a totem's going to last, what is it, 8 seconds?
I think so.
Right. So, I mean,
I don't remember exactly.
I guess if the totem wasn't going to die anyway and on a boss, it would save you having to place them again, like in an extended stationary fight.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. It just seems redundant with life and resist as well.
Well, but the life won't actually matter if it was going to last the duration anyway, right? Or sorry, if it wasn't going to die, then the only thing that matters at that point is duration or movement. The enemy's moved away from it, so you got to place another one, or it's expired. Yeah, I don't think it would be worth much of an investment.
No, definitely not. So I was just thinking, like, for example, if GGG just got rid of totem duration, makes sense.
And then just base it straight off life.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is a specific totem or anything that would have some sort of impact on that.
The only one that I could really see having an impact for that, well, maybe not though. No, I was thinking something like, remember back, this is quite a few leagues ago, where it seemed like everyone, the meta it was just spell totem with that. What was that channeling skill that expands fire? What was it called?
Fire blast.
Yeah, it just seemed like everyone was doing it. Flame blast. Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking of when I was thinking maybe of something with duration. But like I said, you're going to be moving on.
Right. Unless you were in a stationary fight.
And the bosses are going to be, I mean, I'm finding, especially with my ballista totems, it's like they have taunt on them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they just attract attention like crazy. Survivability with my character is so easy.
Which is nice.
And it is. So I was thinking, as my totems are constantly getting attacked, I'm like, man, it just seems like too much to put into if I actually cared about the life of my totems. All I did was care about mana regen instead, so I don't care how often I have to place it.
Right, so totem duration, pretty much useless. Well, at least not something to focus on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think so, but I'm not a totem guy, right? I just started thinking about it since we did this.
Well, I mean, we are pretty sure it's garbage.
We are pretty amazing.
It's true. And we're talking on a podcast, so that counts for at least a 2.
Yeah, I mean, 2 out of 2 people here think that we're pretty fantastic.
That's 100%.
So you can't beat it.
No, you can't.
You can't beat it. No.
Add that to the wiki.
That's right. Hey, okay, so I don't know if they just added this or I have lacked observation by like playing with my eyes squinting all the time, trying to avoid all the flashing. Because have you clicked on any of those? You know how you have to click on recipes to unlock them instead of them just unlocking when you beat a boss, which would be really nice, by the way.
I do click on every single one of them.
Yeah, me too. Oh, well, yeah, you want them. But did you notice, maybe they just added it this league, but Helena shows up.
When you click it?
And she has a little bit of like a mumbling. Yeah, when you click it, she shows up, she poofs in there. And then she has this mumbling dialogue where she's doing something. And then she does some like smoke bomb and she's out of there again. And it's for everyone.
She never says anything? I don't think I've ever noticed.
She kind of mumbles. I maybe it's just because my volume's low, but I can't really catch what she's saying. But
and that's every time.
Cool. Yeah, it's everyone. I thought that was neat.
I think I literally clicked them as if I was picking up a scroll of wisdom. I don't pay attention once I click it, and I just continue on.
Yeah.
So that is cool. I'll have to watch for that. It's a little annoying that you've told me because I feel like now I'm going to be looking for one of those recipes, and I'm probably not going to find one.
Oh, well, you're only Act 7, you said, so you'll find a couple more in story-based.
Yeah, but yeah. Now I feel like I'm going to be more aware. Oh, I guess I could go delve once. And does she come into delve?
I assume it's just, I've only seen her in story. I don't bother delving during story.
Listen, episode 5 is going to start with me being angry. If I go into delve and Helena doesn't pop up when I get my, whatever it is, 3-socket craft.
Make sure you start it with rage music.
It's just going to be anger right off the bat.
All right.
That is pretty cool. I'll have to look out for it.
Yeah. Well, you like those little things, right? Like one of your favorite things. I don't know if it'd be in the game, but I remember you really, really being, really liking it. Right when you enter, I always forget the name, but is Lion Eye Watch? Mm-hmm. The guy, right after you kill Hillock and you walk up for the very first time, he runs over. He puts his hand over the gate and he opens it for you.
Mm-hmm.
you like those little details, so I figured I'd bring it up for you.
Yeah, I'd be curious why Helena, and I guess the thing that would irritate me is she's my most hated NPC.
Why?
I made the mistake of putting her as my selling character when I would map in one league, and I hate her sayings almost as much as Xana's.
Oh, really?
Yep, she just gets me angry.
I have it as Einhardt because he's just funny. I love his voice and enthusiasm. It used to be Nico. In Nico's league, Nico was funny. And then they redid his dialogue, and he's not as humorous and emphatic anymore.
It's the same voice actor, I think.
Yes.
Both. I remember somebody cracking a joke about, is Nico around or something one time at ExileCon with the guy that was playing Einhardt. And he actually cracked the joke in Nico's voice, saying something like, to the effect of, Nico's hiding way down here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Those little things. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, you have another note about filters, and I feel like we covered your damn filters. So my only assumption on this is that you must have rose in the ranks, or this filter point must be just like jaw-dropping important. What?
This is not going to be long, but it is the most important thing that I will ever say. For all of you filter folk out there that like to fiddle in Notepad, or now the new debugging that's on the actual Path of Exile website, I never knew this. I've been playing with filters for a couple years now, and I never knew this. But gems are considered normal items, but they don't have an item level. So, for example, I wanted to have all normal, just everything showing in Act 1, right? Just to make sure that you at least have some gems and this, that, and another thing all equipped. And so I just had on my filter all normal items show up until item level 15. Okay. But then I started seeing gems just kept popping up in Act 2 and Act 3. And now for me, in my filters, it's only Val gems or gems with 1% quality or higher. And so they have to have quality or they have to be Val. And I was just seeing normal gems show up. And as I was playing with it, it was because gems don't have a specific item level. So they were always going to show up as long as any normal values weren't restricted to item levels, or had item level restrictions only. So what I had to do was I had to go in. Are you really enjoying this? This is really exciting. I'm loving it anyway. It's a good one-sided conversation. Mm-hmm. I had to go in and I had to manually put, okay, all normal gloves, all normal chest pieces, all normal helmets, and then every type of weapon base that I was interested in as well, and quivers and shields. So it was a little bit more tedious. I was just surprised.
So
gems are normal items.
Now, when we're talking about gems,
skill gems.
Okay.
So I would just have a spectral throw show up, even though normal items were supposed to stop in the end of Act 1 or item level 15, whatever I put.
What would have given you the idea that they had item levels?
Because I said everything that normal items show up including item level 15. So as soon as items started dropping that were item level 16 or higher, normal items wouldn't be showing anymore.
All right.
But gems kept showing, and I had no clue what it was. I was so sure that I did it right. And I did, according to my knowledge at the time. And then when I started playing with the base values, so then I did some experimenting while I was broadcasting one time, and I had helmets. I had a level 15 helmet, I had a level 20 helmet, and then I had the gems. And as I was playing with it, it was because it had no item level. So I had to list all the bases that I wanted normal to drop with.
I feel like with Neversinks, it's just you can change it to once they're superior or not. So they're on to always show, and eventually you can swap them to only showing if like a certain percentage or higher version of that gem drops.
I'm sure his Filter Blade website has that as an option for sure.
I think at a certain point, even just his basic ones swap over to that. Mm-hmm. Well, okay.
I just thought that was neat for those Notepad folk that like to filter away. There you go. All three of us, now we know.
Oh, I think 3 is way too high.
Well,
so
it has been said.
And now, of course, the real reason you brought it up, I can only imagine that you've gone up. Where are you at?
I don't know. I don't look.
Oh, come on.
I do look, but I don't like to. I didn't bring it up for that.
What were you at last episode? 8? 8?
I think it was 10 or 9.
No.
It was 9.
Nope. You were definitely higher than that. There were 2.
Well, no, because NeverSync has 7.
Yeah, but there were 2. It had a Twitch icon behind this person's name. It started with a C.
Scissorin, and then there was Christor. I'm looking at it now because you asked me to.
Okay, so what are you at?
I'm at 8 now.
And who's above you? Only
NeverSync.
Wow, nice. So besides NeverSync, you're the top of the filters.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. How many is the difference between you and NeverSync's lowest?
3,000.
And you're at how many?
733.
Well, that's actually not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, realistically, in about 10 leagues, roughly,
he'll have 10 billion and I'll be at 1,000.
No, they're all going to be like, who is this guy? That's good.
But you know what? I'm going to drop because NeverSync, GGG, when they added custom filters to console, they removed the NeverSync console filters that he did. And then they were just hoping, they just wanted people to come to the website and download whatever they wanted or follow whatever they wanted. But with all of the issues that they've been having with filters being implemented into console, they're really bugged right now. You can barely use them. They re-added very quickly after release NeverSync's filters that were there for 3.8 and before. And so those are starting to climb the list now. So
because people are still using them.
Now you have like Alexander_GGG, but it's NeverSync's number 2 semi-strict. And so that's rising the ranks now. So all of a sudden it's going to be like,
so screenshot
top 14 are going to be NeverSync, and I'll just be lucky to be on the top page.
Just screenshot it now and it will be forever yours. So
that's right.
Obviously you play a lot of console, and console came out just recently, right?
It came out on, it's typically 3 days later. PC's on the Friday, typically in our time, and then consoles Monday, our time.
So how was, I assume you've already played the new...
I haven't.
No?
I haven't. Nope. I've been struggling with some tough decision making as a guide writer because I play standard on console because I like to play League with you. And then when you're done with League, then I move on to console. And because I don't want to be in a race against time, I just do standard. Right. I don't like doing legacy. Like, it's still basically League. It's all the core stuff, but I don't do, I'm a big minion guy, but I refuse to use a bone helmet with 40% minion damage as an implicit because it doesn't exist anymore. Right. So the problem for me though is with how map conversion works once a new League is released, right? Because GGG likes to mix around the maps. And of course, 3.9 just blew the Atlas up and they remade it. And Atlas conversion currently doesn't work. So what would happen for standard players, because they've cleared the map and it's not like they're going through League and it's in their interest to re-clear the map starting at tier 1s, what they would let you do is, so let's say for a T15, right? Let's do a T16. I was going to do one of the Guardian maps. If I did the Guardian map to Alct and Vald, beat the boss, it literally unlocks the entire Atlas, one tier down, and the rest. So if I did a T16 with the bonus, all T15s and under would be automatically unlocked with their bonuses unlocked as well. That's what they do for standard. Now, I want to go through a 3.9. I want to go through and experience the new Atlas. Right. Before it wasn't an issue because I'd done it 100 times. And so that's fine. I'll start back at the very top again. And, I'm fine to do the Shaper as my second kill. But now I want to start at the beginning. I want to experience what it's like. I want to see what it's like to unlock things, how it progresses. And then if they make changes to how the progress is there, at least I'll know what it was like. And because they don't have the map conversion working right now, where you typically just be able to hit a button on your map tab that says convert all maps to the current League, and it would. And so now I don't want to unlock the entire map, but because conversion doesn't work, I have nowhere to put the new maps.
Will conversion work? Is the plan for 3.9 to allow for conversion?
Yes, it's always been a core feature. I don't even know if it's a feature. It's a mechanic. It's something that they expect to work, but it doesn't work, and it's on their high priority list, but it currently doesn't work. So here's the thing, like, especially in standard, you have thousands of maps. Me, I don't have thousands of maps, but let's say I think I have like 950 maps. Where am I going to put those? Right? If I actually want to convert my tab, I have to take 850 maps out. Then I can convert my map stash tab to the current one. But where am I going to put 850 things? They don't stack. I'm not going to go out and spend $16 on a few quad tabs just for a temporary thing. Right. So if I don't convert my tab and I keep all my legacy maps somewhere, or in the map tab, where am I going to put all my new maps? Because I mean, I'm going to be collecting new maps, but you can't put them in the same map tab because it's for a different league. So I haven't been playing because I just don't have them. I'm not going to go out and spend the money on new tabs just for a temporary thing. We had this again, that this happened a few leagues ago, and it took them about a month to add currency conversion, or not currency conversion, map conversion.
I do remember that coming up in the past with the conversation between us. So besides that, has the league launched fine on console?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of people play League on Mixer, and it seems to be doing really well. When it first launched, they had to, on Xbox specifically, if you clicked the Atlas, crash. If you clicked your map device, crash. Like, you and I both bought that sweet Atlas table for like $15.
Yep.
It's just a decoration, but if you click on it in your hideout, it actually brings up the Atlas. It's awesome. It's way better than pausing the game and hitting RB a few times. It was worth $15. Even clicking on that 100% of the time would crash the game. Wow. So that was kind of discouraging. So, I mean, they came up with a fix for that really quick, but yeah. And then the filters are really glitchy.
How so?
The custom filters that you can follow, they just don't show up in the drop-down menu consistently.
Oh, so people can't use your filter on console?
You can, but see, when I was making my guide example videos today, so here's their trick, their temporary trick while they fix this high priority issue. You have to go to your options. You get the drop-down menu. You're not going to see your custom filters. You back out. You go back into options, you go to your filter drop down, they'll be there. That works with the first character you load. So I would switch characters without exiting the game. I would go back to the splash screen on console. I'd switch characters, right? I got a new map to run with for a new guide example. I couldn't get it. Even with their trick, I couldn't get it. It only works for the first character. So I would have to actually quit the game. And then on an original Xbox One, it takes a long time to load.
Yep.
So if I was just if I was doing a normal playthrough, right, I was just going to plan on playing one character for the night. Every time you go into a map, you would have to do that. Go into options, leave, go into options, and load it. So you have to do that at every map. So it's right now, it's really annoying, and they are going to fix it. But all that to say, I really haven't bothered touching console.
Wow.
For 3.9.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Me, the filter thing I get, that is brand new. Like, okay, it doesn't work well. They re-added never sync stuff right away from before, so it's like there's nothing different per se. The feature's been delayed, I guess. The thing that really gets me, though, is the map conversion. Like, that is such a core part of the game. You know you're changing the Atlas. Even though standard isn't their biggest focus, it's still a part of the game. You have to consider it, and for there to be absolutely nothing available map stash tab wise, that to me, that's just... I remember it happening before, and I felt the same. It's kind of just like a big kick in the face. Well, I mean, they're giving the game out for free, so it's not like I can complain too much. But it's pretty discouraging that, again, with big map changes, map conversion is dealt with post-launch.
I mean, you could just play League.
I do.
Only.
I do. I'm waiting it out. No, not only. Not only. I don't have that kind of time. I've been trying desperately to play for this whole week, and I think I got in an hour and a half.
All right. So did you notice that the supporter packs just came out? I think it was yesterday, right? Last night.
Yeah, the new core support packs that'll be there for the year.
So we didn't actually talk about the Metamorph one, so we'll chat about that after, just real quick. But have you had a chance then to look through the supporter packs, the core ones?
Yeah, I did.
Thoughts? Now, do you often buy the supporter packs, the core ones?
To me, it doesn't matter whether it's League or core for the support packs. I just buy the ones that I think look cool, but I'm big into sets.
Okay.
Right. And
are we talking about armor sets?
Everything. Like I want footprints. I I definitely need a portal that matches. Goodness me.
Obviously.
And I need the weapon effect, and then it has to fit well. But then I also want it to match my skills.
Okay.
Right. Like our Righteous Fire, for example, has that nice blue, I forget what it's called, the Harbinger one. And so there was a support pack that came out that had that there was a really nice bright blue portal in it. So like, okay, well that one's gonna make it.
Is it the electrical one?
No, it wasn't the electrical one. It was another one.
Okay.
But
anyway.
Yeah, I looked through the core ones, and not as a criticism, but I only like one, and it's the one I'm never gonna buy. It's the most expensive one.
Yeah, so
the Orion Supporter.
So I went through them as well. I mean, they're clearly going after the apparition still. like really heavily. And the apparitions to me is one of my least favorite things. I bought the core supporter packs for the last one as well, and I wasn't a big fan of the apparitions then either. It was cool because it was new, but I didn't really care for them. These ones are kind of in the same boat for me. I think so. I don't mind them. They're not terrible. I typically buy the core supporter packs because I want the shirt, the jacket. I don't really need it quite as much anymore after ExileCon because I have plenty of POE shirts now. Kind of loaded for a while. But I am really, really disappointed with the difference from everything to Orion. Like typically I can find some of the sets or some of the looks or whatever in the lower tier ones. I'm still excited to have them. I might build them into a look or some MTX style for another one or these ones. I mean, by the time I got to Judicator and just looking through them all, I wasn't overly impressed. The armor sets were relatively dull, actually. Some of the secondary helmets were kind of cool. I did like the Eerie hood. It's like a white hood. And the Judicator one, it actually looks like one I already have. I think it was I want to say it was the Sin and Innocence one. Was very, very similar to the hood of the Judicator. So it didn't really stand out to me. But then you get to the Orion supporter pack and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It just went from like, meh, it's reasonable. Okay, you get a map. That's cool. The book, I don't actually care about the game book. Some people probably love the idea of that game book. I don't. But the look of everything compared to Orion is not even close. Orion is like incredible. I love the look. I love the portal. I love the style. The portal. I actually don't mind the apparition in that one. Like it's actually kind of cool to me. But I'm a little disappointed in the difference from Orion to every single thing else.
Yeah. No, I definitely see that. I see that for sure as you scroll through them.
I feel like if I bought it, I would just be buying whatever 4,800 is divided by 50 of the boxes.
Yeah. I don't know, that portal though, that's hard to give up. Yeah. Like if that's in your budget, that's...
Well, I mean, portals for some weird reason have always been my draw on MTX more than almost anything else. Like I have way too many portals and you can't use them. And I always think, oh, this is the best one. I'm not going to switch. And then that changes real quick. But I'm just really disappointed in the difference between Orion and everything else, because Orion just looks, I cannot see why anyone would be like, I'm good with the Basilisk supporter set. It's decent for $60. I guess if you're really into snakes, like fine, but that's it. There's nothing super fancy about it. And the Crusader, I actually don't mind the apparition again. I thought the back piece was kind of cool. For all of them, I like the secondary hoods better than the primary hoods, except for Orion. I like both, but there wasn't anything that stood out about any of them. So I don't know. I'm a little, I mean, I end up buying them anyway, but this one kind of turned me off a bit because the Orion one is I don't feel like I'm getting as much in all the previous tiers as it has been with past core packs. So I don't know. Not the biggest fan. It does look cool. I love the Orion look. I don't like any of the other ones.
Yeah.
And people might obviously have a different opinion, but I just find they're boring. I feel like almost every single one of those other ones, you could go and find a version of them
already in the store.
Yeah. Obviously Orion, you can't. It does have a slight similarity to, I don't remember what it was called. There was one that I feel like I got through some of the different mystery boxes.
It was blue.
It had like a celestial inside instead of that white look. So I do remember, I do have that one, but that portal is just awesome. Oh my God. And the way that the portal opens and closes, like it's just, it's really, really cool. We can
show a video. It's really cool.
I'm sure people
check it out if you can. It's the Orion Supporter pack.
Yeah.
It's core. It's the one that's valued at 4,800 credits. If you can see the video for the portal, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is really cool. I think it's like halfway through the video. And then
for me, go.
No,
I was going to say, for me, the reason that I'm not attracted to the apparitions is just because of the concussion stuff I have. The busier the screen is, the less I can play. And the more surprising things are, like the less, like
control you have over what you're seeing.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Sorry. Thanks for filling that in for me. Yeah. It's the less control I have over what's happening and when things appear.
Sure.
It makes me nauseous faster. And so to have that just show up all of a sudden, especially if I'm like looking at something in my screen and all of a sudden that's flashing behind my character screen.
Yeah, and I think they only come out when you're stationary, if I remember correctly. I don't think they come while you're running through a map or whatever it is, but to me, they're like I don't know what a word would be for like 6th in my list of importance. They're just very much at the bottom. I don't really care for them. I wasn't super sold on them in the last core supporter pack when they first came out. I didn't really like any of them. I mean, the one with the time or whatever was cool, but and then actually, in fact, one thing that I noticed was the one from Eerie actually reminded me of one of the supporter pack apparitions from the previous set. It wasn't exactly the same, but it was very similar. That sort of that angel-y style. So
it's got to be hard to come up with unique stuff as an artist for sure. Like it's, it's not necessarily a criticism to how they go about it. It's got to be so hard to come up with new content, but there is a big jump. Like you said, there's just a huge difference between the $240 one and the $480 one.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And then, I mean, I like, at least with the 480, you get some of the extra stuff you get, like the art is very cool. Like the physical stuff. I thought the game is weird to me, the game book, but I'm sure
the map would have been really cool, but you got that at ExileCon.
No, not that map. I don't think that was the ExileCon map. No.
They wouldn't have given you the 3.8 map.
I would have to pull it out. It's not an Atlas map. It's like a Ray class map. Like if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then you need the map.
I still have to find it. Anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. But so, and then Metamorph
looks pretty sweet. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're at least simpler.
The Eternal Damnation supporter, that one looks a lot like, I mean, obviously there's details that are different, but that one looks a lot like the Judicator.
I feel like the Eternal Damnation one could have been swapped out with the $240 one, and I'd be more inclined to enjoy that 200. That the Judicator set to me should be like a $60 pack.
Yeah,
it's not exciting. It's super boring. I don't even think is there.
I like the Grand Sanctum supporter. It's all white with the angelic wings, but it's like mechanical white angelic wings. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, and I
love the frame. It's all swirly. It's and white. It's pretty.
I don't like the primary helmet, but I do like the secondary. I like the hooded one. The primary one looks just a little weird.
Oh, really? I'm the other way around. I like the primary one. I don't like the secondary one. I like the secondary helmet of all the support packs of the core ones. But anyway, yeah. And then really see what we're talking about. So if you're listening to this, definitely go and check out the what is it called? Just the buy packs at pathofexile.com, shop buy packs, and maybe rewind a bit and check out all the different packs as we're talking about them, because there's kind of neat to see it as we're talking about it.
There's a lot of spots to spend money. I feel like they could have done better on the core supporter side. The Metamorph ones to me are all cool. I actually like both of them. I don't have much to complain about either of them. Besides, there's no portal.
Yeah. It's hard to mix and match. See, for me, that's what I do when I'm looking at a pack. I'm like, okay, well, there's no complete set here. So is there a color of prints? Is there a portal that matches that style and that color? And if there isn't, I'm not getting it.
That's solely what you're basing it on.
Well, yeah, I want a whole set. Yeah. And like, for example, I really like the Verdant set that I mean, it's one of the oldest sets I think that you can find. You have that like animal skull as your head, and there's the verdant footprints, and they're all flowery and stuff. Like, I like the set, but there's no portal. There's never been a portal that's even come close to it. And then what was it called? The Redeemer. What was the Redeemer? 3.5, 3.6. Anyway, that had a portal. It had like a back attachment that was a bunch of snakes, kind of Medusa style. And anyway, the portal for the Redeemer really matched the Verdant set. So I'm like, okay. Saved my cash up, bought it. Now I use it. It's awesome. I got it just for the portal. It was like $100.
The Verdant one is it's kind of like tree-ish style, right?
Which style?
The Verdant, the one that you like all the armor set for.
It's flowery, naturey. Not flowery, but it's naturey. It's woodsy.
What's the portal that I have that's got the green inside? It's kind of got a tree that it almost looks like it's a branch opening up.
I forget where it's from.
I do too.
But if you give it to me, I'll use it.
Yeah, I'll send it right over.
Thank you.
Yeah, so anyway, I was actually bringing up when we were chatting about the portals, it made me think again about the and the map from ExileCon. So yeah, I'm still looking. I have a Path of Exile, the grab bag that they gave us.
Oh, from ExileCon.
Right. Yeah. It's sitting in, I think it's in my room. I have to open it up. We took out the passes. I think I might have still a couple shirts in there that are still in the plastic because I didn't have time to take them out. But I still need to find that.
So you still got your code. And what was it that your code gave you? Do you know?
A portal.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it was a portal.
So that's okay. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let us know when you open it up. Do a big reveal, please.
Well, yeah. The problem is now I feel like there's other portals out there that are already cooler.
Well, I still type in the code. Come on.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely claim it. I just don't know if I'll actually use it.
Wouldn't that be awesome if it's a celestial portal?
Trying to think if they do have one that's kind of celestial. I don't think it was a purchasable one though, was it?
I forget. I hate everything celestial. So
I got you when they
came out with like that year of come on now. When they came out with that whole year. So here's the thing. I've always disliked the celestial look. I liked it when it looked like the black hole. Do you remember that? Like there was Frostbolt, Vortex. There was one other skill. It had the black hole, so you could see the stars underneath, but it didn't like completely take over the screen. There was no gold attached to it. And then when they started rebranding Celestial, they added all those gold trims to it and had a lot of moving parts and like moons and things around your shield, I think it was. And I liked the old version. I didn't like the new version. And then all of a sudden, like obviously it sold really well. They just came out with Celestial everything. Everything was Celestial. There was no variety to it. For almost a whole year, I felt like 75% of the MTXs that came out were Celestial. And I remember talking to you many times. I'm like, hey, guess a new MTX came out. Guess what kind it is? Didn't matter what skill it was Celestial.
Yep.
So my buddy Justin here, when he went to ExileCon, he was very, very kind and generous and bought me some Celestial cat socks, knowing how much I love Celestial.
Well, you like cats.
And, well, I have cats, and I do like them. And to tell you the truth, the Celestial cat pet that they have, they do some pretty funny cat mannerisms. If you're a cat person, the Celestial cats are pretty funny.
Is that just a pet in the game?
Yeah, it's a pet. Yeah.
Didn't they make, was it Spark? What did there was a Celestial Spark, or no, maybe it wasn't Celestial. There was a Spark skill that made them, something turned into cats. Or was it, there was a skill that made something cats?
Yes, I forget what it is. Wouldn't that be awesome if it was SRS? Might have been.
I don't remember.
There
is one for SRS, but it's like bats or something.
It's ravens. It's pretty cool. I have it from my SRS days. I really liked it. But anyway, so my buddy Justin, with all of my hate towards Celestial, oh my goodness. And then when they came out with Celestial Zombies, that was it for me. Like I'm a big zombie freak. And my joke was always, okay, once they've gone to Celestial Zombies, they've gone too far. They went with Celestial Zombies. So my friend Justin very kindly goes to New Zealand and he buys me some Celestial cat socks. So now
You're welcome.
Feel... Thank you very much. So now I kind of feel like I have to go all Celestial and just deck out my zombies and my entire slow-mo zombies character with complete Celestial gear.
Well, you've seen what that looks like because I did that last league. It's not worth it.
But I have the socks and I need the set.
Yeah, but you could just call them like Halloween socks.
I know where they came from.
Yeah, but you don't have to tell anyone else that. I promise you, nobody else knows. Nobody.
I've worn my Exile hoodie, my Path of Exile hoodie that you bought me.
Yep.
And my hat almost nonstop.
Has anybody said anything? Been like, hey.
I've been waiting for. I remember when you went to the mall in our small little town here.
Yep.
You went to the mall a long time ago and you were wearing one of your like extremely expensive Path of Exile t-shirts under your hoodie. And you came back from the mall that time and you said, hey, one of the guys at the cell phone shop, he's like, is that a Path of Exile shirt?
Yep.
So I've been waiting for that with like my sweet hoodie that you got me and this hat that's got an exalted orb right on the front. Nobody.
Maybe it's just your face.
No, it can't be that. My face, people just, if anything, it would be they're just staring at my dreamy eyes. Yeah. So anyway, I've despite my hate for Celestial, thank you, Justin, I'm now tempted to spend all my money
on
decking out my slow-mo zombies.
Not until you can have some other form of the zombies being celestial, not in their current form. It's dumb. Anyway.
Well, I would love to have clown zombies from that last pack that they had, but they never came out with it. I really thought they would. It was a zombie league.
It was like the perfect situation for it. Give me some freaking tiny person zombies or minions or something.
Clowns. Yeah.
Just anything. I wanted them to be tiny. I just think it'd be funny to watch them run around.
So anyway, thank you for the socks.
So now with regards to a similar thing on ExileCon, the haunted house fade technology that you're talking about.
Oh, so I get so excited when, Bayclast and other things have, the GGG creators on. I watch every single one that the creators are on.
Mm-hmm.
I just love hearing all the tidbits on the decisions and how they made it and why certain things are like that. And, all the struggles they have with certain decisions that they have to make and what they have to consider. I just love that stuff.
Yep.
And so I wasn't that excited for and one thing I really liked about ExileCon, because I didn't go, was on their channel, no matter what medium you were watching on, it was just one broadcast. It's not like they had one camera for YouTube and it was doing one interview, and then on the Twitch one, it was doing a different interview. It was just one broadcast. And I really liked that.
Sure.
And there was one that I wasn't that excited about. It was just some of the artists that were sitting down, they were being interviewed. And it was one of the most interesting interviews out of the entire thing, despite the fact that, despite the announcements that, 4.0, it was so interesting to listen to some of the stuff. They had more information about the game than some of the creator or than some of the standard creator like Jonathan interviews. And it was really cool. And I love all of them. One of the really cool things that they mentioned, though, that fade technology they use, like when you're behind a tree, the tree fades away so that you can see yourself.
Yep.
And actually in 3.9, they kind of expanded the amount that you can see when you're behind an object, right? So you go into like the Haunted Mansion map.
Yep.
I assume it still exists. I haven't gone to mapping in 3.9 yet, but when you go into the Haunted Mansion, it's a building, but of course you can see your character. So the roof fades away so you can see your character in the walls. They were saying that they add a lot of little tidbits to these maps. And one really fun thing that they did with Haunted Mansion was there's a story. If you look at the paintings on the wall, there's a story in a way of how the family is progressing. And spoil it for you, unfortunately, but eventually you can even find their corpses on the ground. Now, these maps are randomly generated, so you're randomly made, so you're going to come across some duplicate pictures, of course, and they might not be in the appropriate order, but you'll be able to see a whole bunch of pictures that they're progressively getting worse, and then at some point throughout the map, you'll actually find some of their corpses there, which is kind of cool. They used that fade technology on the pictures. So there's actually a second picture that you can see. So if you go close to these family paintings, you'll see, I remember there was one, I forget who it was, but it would be like a dad and a daughter. And there's this awkward space behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And all you see is a dad and a daughter. But as you get close to it, all of a sudden there's this big demon behind them that's in the painting as well.
Wow.
So super cool. So all of a sudden, every time I do Haunted Mansion, ever since ExileCon.
My God, it's even slower.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. I go slower.
Yeah, I don't like
at all the paintings, and I'm scrolling in, and I love it. I love it.
I might have to do that once. I don't think I can do it more than once. That is really cool. I'll have to check it out because I did not know that. I didn't hear that particular interview. Any of the ones that were done downstairs with the streamers and stuff. I didn't sit around for that. I was in the main auditorium, so I think all those ones are on YouTube or something. But that is pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. And so I'm excited because it's obviously the same staff, as long as they maintain their employment. It's the same staff that's working on 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
And with the amount of technology that's going into it and the time that they've been putting into it, especially into the art, right? Because they want to make it look a lot more modern than it is, than the game is now. I'm really tempted to try and find those little tidbits and those Easter eggs now. I'm excited for it. And you have to play with me. You have to stay by my side. I'm going to be an
like, hey, come back over here.
To play with me.
Come look at this painting.
I just have 6 auras on. I can't attack anything. You got to do it. Just come back.
Yeah. No, that is cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Haunted Mansion. If I assume it's still the same map, even though they've changed the atlas. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
After I have a question for the people that are listening, and I need some advice here. So I have I write guides on pathofexile.com. They're in the forum there, and there's about 6 of them. I previously mentioned my dilemma with map conversion and how standard works. I want to go through the Atlas from tier 1 and experience how it unlocks. So I don't want to automatically unlock the entire Atlas and then try and progress. It's going to be really hard to track if all the bonuses are done. So I have a situation here because I like having example videos for my guides, right? I want to have a video. It's not, you know, a video that explains anything. It's just a short 4-minute video of a map. It shows how the build works. It shows the mechanics visually, build mechanics visually, and then it's done. Right?
I'm just going to cut you off real quick. Am I allowed to respond? Because you said this was for people listening. Am I included?
Yeah, okay. Definitely. Interrupt me as much as you want.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm in a situation where I obviously don't want to show a tier 1 map as my guide example, right? It's going to show, I mean, the few people that think that matters, they're going to say that, you know, the guide, you know, it's just not a good example of
how the build works.
Right. Like I typically like to do one of the Shaper or one of the Guardian maps because they can have some pretty bad rolls and I'd like to show them. They were always harder and the Shaper fight's too long anyway.
Okay.
So that's what I typically like to do. But I can't do that, right? And I definitely don't want to use up some of those maps because the Shaper and the Guardian, now they're special within the Atlas. They're not specific, so I don't want to use them up in case they're rare. So I'm kind of at a standstill. Do I make my example videos in Delve? I don't like doing that because Delve's too busy, right? It's very bright. There's a ton of enemies. And as great as that is for gameplay, when you're trying to show what the build does, if it's too busy, people aren't going to see the mechanics going off, right? They're not going to see a minion offering going on and seeing what's happening. They're not going to see all those cast win damage taken, level 1 skills getting cast off. It's just going to be a big of color. So I could do Delve, right? Because it doesn't influence the Atlas in any way, but they're not going to really see much. I could do some of my really high maps that I have for standard, but then it'll unlock the entire Atlas. So I guess my question for people that are listening, if they care, and yourself as well, is what do you like in an example video? Like it's not my guide explained in the video. I'm not going through the gems or
this is a brief
items.
Overview.
It's just, this is what the build looks like in action video. What do you like? Do you care about the tier? Do you care about the map mods? Do you just want to see what it's like when you get hit and how you attack?
I don't know how many.
Important.
I'm not sure how many build videos I've watched. I'm trying to think what would be most beneficial. I don't feel like that would really matter. If the point of it is not to necessarily show that, hey, it can kill the Guardian, but it's more to show, hey, this is how the build functions. I'm not sure how that differs between a tier a 1, 2, or 3 and a 12, 13, 14, aside from the fact that the mobs might die faster. Unless you're somehow showcasing your survivability as well as the ability to clear the map. Well,
they get about 5,000 to 10,000 views a piece, the guide examples, each league, right? So within 3 months, they'll have about, like my 3.8 trigger happy gameplay example has 10,000 views.
I don't know that Delve would be a very good representation of a build. They're very skinny pathways. The mobs are so different in every different section, and then the end is different each time. Whatever that function is at the end of each Delve run. So I'm not sure that would give you a really great representation of how a build would function.
And there's too much surprise damage in Delve too, I think. Like if all of a sudden in an example video, I lost 3/4 of my life.
Well, I mean, the benefit though of you recording a video is you just don't use that video.
No,
right?
Of course, but
that shows how awesome you are. I feel like a build video benefit is just to see how the build functions, not to see that, oh, look, I can see where you're coming from, but you could always add that later. So the reason you don't want to do the higher tier 1 is because you want to go through the Atlas and standard as well.
Right. Because then I won't unlock the entire Atlas already.
Right.
And so then as I start progressing, it's easy for me to actually visualize, because I'm actually unlocking the Atlas. You know what I mean? So,
and you can't, does it do it for all characters when you do it on one?
Yeah. It's,
I don't know.
Same as League.
I feel like if you are worried about, I wouldn't care so much about what somebody's going to think versus a tier 1 versus a tier 16. Who cares? Stop caring so much, Tyler. Do whatever the hell you want.
Well, here's what I was thinking. And I was thinking Racecourse is my favorite map. It's the best. And I love that it has 3 bosses at the end and they're all very different. I think it's, besides it being my favorite map, I think it's a very good guide example map. And so I was thinking the shaped version of it from 3.8, which I still have a bunch of, is a tier 11. If I did a tier 11 without alking it and valing it, then it would unlock all the T10s and under, but they wouldn't have the bonuses.
Do you actually think you running through a tier 10 race course is going to be different than you running through a tier 1 anything in regards to showing how the build functions? Why would that be different?
The speed that enemies die.
So like, sure, it still like does if you're clearing it,
and it's T11, okay, T11. Don't drag me down that much. But with T11s, if
I don't care, it's tier 18. All I'm saying is, if the mobs are going to die, regardless, what difference does it make in the speed that they die if all you're doing is showing how the build works? Like, hey, I'm trying to think of one of your builds. Like, let's just take this wonderful elemental hit totem one. If you're just trying to show how it works with dropping totems and elemental hit is firing off and hey, it can kill stuff. The difference to me between tier 1 and tier 41 is going to just be the fact that you have to scale up your damage. The actual gameplay wouldn't change.
Well, I do a lot of cast on damage taken though, so it's important to get hit and sometimes hit a little bit harder.
But again, the only thing that's going to make that clear further tiered maps is you scaling up whatever your gear is, weapon is, skill gems are, right?
Yeah. But it's nice to see, like, if you come across a magic group that actually has some surprising amount of health, it's nice that it lasts for a few seconds to see how that works too. In a T1, everything gets obliterated, including the boss.
All right, so here's what you do. Go and run a freaking Guardian map and screw up your whole Atlas and Standard, and then just go through the Atlas and League.
Well, I guess it depends how much PC time I get.
Oh my God, just do it from tier 1. I think you care too much about what people think.
No, it's more, I want it to be a good example.
I'm really curious if there's much of a difference between watching someone go through. I understand what you're saying because I've seen examples of where people say like, oh, this is an example of a tier whatever, Shaper or Guardian kill, blah, blah, blah. But to me, all that proves is that the build can do that content. It's not that type of video that would show me how the build functions. And are you not trying to show more how the build functions, or are you trying to show what tier it can clear up to?
No, they can. Well, I mean, as of 3.8, they can clear everything easily. So it wouldn't be like a bragging thing or hey, just a surety thing. Hey, just FYI, it can do this. It's
just run through ledge. Just through ledge. Just ledge. It's a nice straight shot. You don't have to worry about turning the wrong way.
Yeah, actually, that's not true.
I mean, you could end up back at the start and not have a portal, but
it's one of the two.
But then that would be a great video because once you got to the wrong side, you would just have to run back to the portal and then head back the other way. You could show movement speed.
Fast forwards.
Like, hey, this is what happens when you have a Quicksilver.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. I would do ledge, purposefully go the wrong way.
All right.
And then come back.
I'm glad I brought it up.
Yeah.
I appreciate your advice.
Maybe you'll get some better input. I hope not, though. I hope not. I hope you go with the ledge.
Tweet some advice to, what are we, Forever Exiled 82 on Twitter. If you actually, have some advice or some suggestions, I'm all ears. So Forever Exiled 82, if you're up for giving me some tips.
Hashtag just run ledge.
Yeah, I could do that too. I
think that's the key.
Right on.
Cool, man. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to cover for today.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a busy one.
Thanks for everybody who tuned in and checked us out on our 4th episode of Forever Exiled, a Path of Exile podcast. Again, I am one of your hosts, Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Thanks again for joining us and have a good one.
See you next time.
Don't forget to check out the show notes for more information about today's episode. You can find us online at www.foreverexiled.com as well as on Twitter at foreverexiled82.